Hello, everyone. Welcome to our mini session episode 17. Where, if you're new here, welcome to Uncut Exception. And we do these sessions weekly, every 9 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. And these sessions usually has two speakers and usually will last about an hour. And for this session, we're gonna talk about Resize Observer API. And the speaker for tonight or today is Arnelle Balane. You can start sharing your screen now, and we can.
Okay, I muted? I'm not. Okay. So, hi everyone, welcome to another stream. So for this session, I will be sharing about the Resize Observer API. So just to continue like the series of observers on the web. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about Intersection Observer API, which allows our code to observe when an element's intersection with like the page changes. After that, we talked about Mutation Observer API, which allows our code to observe when the DOM changes. And for now, we're going to take a look at the Resize Observer API, which allows our code to observe when a target element um, resizes or changes its size. So let's take a look at that real quick. This will be a quick one. So let's take a look at our sample page, which is this one. It has a container, this bluish border, and then it has 3 images. And this is this code. And for the JS part, we don't actually have any JS code yet. So um, let's try like implement coding something like that allows us to know when this bluish div changes. So normally we do that by, before we used to do that using the resize event. So let's just take a look at how it's done. So so traditionally we can add an event listener on the window object for the resize event, and then that's it. We just want to console that flag it. So this will let us know whenever the window resizes, and as a result, when the window resizes, um, the bluish box also resizes. But this is like pretty limited because we're not exactly listening when the box resized, but only when the window resizes. So there are cases where, for example, the window resizes, but in fact the box didn't resize, so that won't be handled properly here just with the normal resize event. There are also other reasons that might cause our element, this bluish box, to resize, which is not which has nothing to do with resizing the entire window. So that won't be handled by the resize event also. So to handle those properly, we can use the Resize Observer API. So first, we need to check if it's actually supported um, before we start using it by checking if the Resize Observer class is available in the window object. And if it is, we start defining our observer instance already. So um, the format is pretty much the same as the other observers that we looked at before. So observer, create a new resize observer, and it accepts a callback function, which it will call every time an observed element resizes. So let's define this callback function first. So the callback function accepts an array of entries. So each of those entry, because an observer can observe multiple elements at the same time, so each of those entries represents like an observed element that resized. So it will accept an array of entries. And for now, let's console that log the So this is the definition of the Resize Observer. All you need is the callback function. And to use it to actually observe an element, we need to call the observer's observe function. We pass in a target element, which is the element that we want to observe. So let's get the target element first. So we want to observe size changes to the div. So let's query the div and pass it to observer.observe. And let's see this if it works. So if I refresh the page, you see I got 3 resize entries already, and I didn't even resize the page first. So where did these 3 resize entries come from? They happen when the images loaded on the page. So because when on page load, the image won't be available there yet. So if you notice, the box starts at a small height, and then as the images load, they get rendered to the page. The box also increases its height. So that's something that the normal resize events on the window object can't handle, but resize observers can. So same with resizing the window, it's also able to the resize observer is also able to detect changes to the box size by resizing the window. So basically, any source, any way that the box could be resized, it doesn't really matter how it gets resized, as long as its dimensions change. The resize observer will be able to detect it, even if we delete an element. Which, for example, I want to delete this image. So once this image gets removed, some height will be freed up, so the box will reduce its height, and that is a resize that is going to be detected by the resize observer. So the resize observer entry gives us a lot of useful information, such as the new size of the element being observed. That's the content rect. So yeah. So here we see after resizing, this is now the new dimensions and like position of the element. So content box, which is the content inside, the area inside the element, like inside the padding part, and also the border box, which is the size up to the borders of the element. So we get this information for free in the Resize Observer, so we don't have to query it in the element from the target element again anymore. So that's pretty much it about Resize Observer. So use cases would be wherever maybe you want to know when elements resize, where the window resize event can't really handle. So because there is window resize only works when the window is actually resized, but there will be cases where the window doesn't resize, but the element you're interested in resizes. For example, when new elements are added inside that element, typically that element will automatically adjust its height. So Resize Observer is able to get us that information. Same with removing an element, so the height will be reduced also. So yeah, things like this. The API is similar with all the other observer APIs on the web, so it's easy to remember like how to use it, and it's a very simple API. It serves one purpose and does it very well, and that's it about Resize Observer from me. If you have any questions.
Any questions, guys? Not
No.
from me.
So
I
there
have a
are
question.
yes. Thanks. Yes. Arnelle.
Is there also a function to remove the like a callback function for the observer or something?
Um.
Since let's say there we do not want to observe the object anymore since
Yes.
something
Okay.
else.
So yes, that's possible. Let me share my screen again. So later on, so using the same observer, am I sharing my screen? Okay. So using the same observer, you can call observe as many times as you want. So using another target to observe another element. So you can do that. And for example, we don't want to observe target one anymore. We can just unobserve it and observe. And then pass target. Let's just use target. So here what we're doing is we're observing target and then we are unobserving it again. So let's see. So here we're not getting the resize entries anymore because we already unobserved target. So because you can call observe multiple times, so you can either unobserve every single one of the elements one by one also, or if you want to like um unobserve everyone, you can call the observer that disconnect. So this will remove all that. This will unobserve all the observed elements. So these functions are similar. Is available in Resize Observer and also available the same in other observer APIs like intersection observer and mutation observer. Yes. Did that answer your question, Ice?
Yes, that did answer my question.
Okay, nice. So yeah, those are three observers for the web: intersection, which we talked 2 episodes ago, mutation observer, which we talked about the last episode, and now resize observer. So there's actually one more observer left, but I have no idea how it works. So it's called the performance observer. We might talk about it in the future when I've tried it at some point. So that's it.
Any other questions, guys?
No from me. Okay, you're muted.
See, Faye,
You are
you're
muted.
muted.
Ah, sorry. Sorry. Okay. There's no other questions, guys. Again, that's it. I
Hmm.
hope that was one quick episode. Anyways, so I think let's end it here. Kuya Arnelle.
Okay.
Go. Okay. That was a quick episode, like observer limitation, server API, limitation observer. Ay, oh yeah, server API. Anyway, so I think we will see you in the next episode, which is episode 18, and we will have Drew ES as the speaker next episode, which will be the last episode for us this year
Yay.
about tech and stuff, but we will still see each other after that. Let's have a game anyways because it's Christmas. So that's it for now. I'll catch you the next episode. So if you have some questions or topics that you want us to talk about, just leave a comment in the video. And if you find today's topic very helpful, don't forget to click the like button. And for more updates and discussions like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys. See you next Saturday.
Thank
Bye.
you.